Yes, hello everybody, and thank you very much, Mr. Bogan, for introducing myself. Again, also from my end, a very warm welcome to this first online VDW symposium. So it is a pleasure, to be here virtually, obviously only in order to present the topic and present my speech of today. I will talk about, as you can see already in the title, in the first slide of my presentation, I will basically present, about Fiveaxis machining, about our machines, about, basically the, give me 1 second, I just start my presentation in the meantime. So just 1 second. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can see your screen in full screen.
And also the presentation, right? So the presentation started.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Very good. Sorry for these queries. Sometimes just a new webinar platform sometimes also calls for some new just new testings. So, but I hope you all can see my screen and presentation. Again, I would like to directly start with the presentation. Don't waste too much time on the overview and the agenda for today. My name is Maximilian Weizenegger. I am a sales manager as well as key account manager for Hermle, in charge of the Indian market as well as other markets. I'm working for the company for quite some time, and I've also joined the VDW Symposia a couple of years ago that was actually taking place in India. So it's my second symposia for the Indian market, and I'm very happy to be here today. As Mr. Bogan already introduced, I'm very open, to answer any kind of question basically at the end of the presentation, so you can raise all your questions, and I'll try to answer as many as possible at the end of the presentation. So first of all, I would like to shed some quick light on our company, on Hermle itself. So I hope everybody of you has already had contact with our company before. Hermle, we are a German manufacturer of machining centers. So basically, we call ourselves really a manufacturer of Fiveaxis machines. 95% of our product portfolio is really, dedicated on vertical Fiveaxis machining centers. So we don't do too many other products. We really focus on vertical Fiveaxis machines as well as auxiliary equipment such as robotics, cells, automation, and everything that relates to this central product. As you can see here on that picture, this is our headquarters here in Gorsheim in southern Germany. So we are located more or less in between Zurich and Stuttgart, so close to the Swiss border already here in South Germany. We employ more than 1,300 people globally, and the biggest share of those people work here at the headquarters. So our headquarters is at the same time also the only manufacturing site where we assemble machines and where we produce parts. So when a Hermle machine says made in Germany, it's truly 100% made in Germany. We don't have any manufacturing site outside of Germany, and we work exclusively with German suppliers. So therefore, still we have many only German machine tool builders in that symposia today. We are one of the few that exclusively manufactures in the German market and in Germany. Globally, we have more than 28,000 machines installed, and also recently we've been pretty successful in the Indian market. And this is now also then the transfer to my second slide. So in India, we are represented by our partner, Philips Machine Tools, a very big machine tool distributor in the Indian market, and very much focused also on high-end European products. So we partner with them for more than 10 years. They are our partner when it comes to service, when it comes to sales, as well as applications. So we have 2 tech centers where also you can find Hermle machines in India. So recently we have installed a new machine in Bangalore in the new tech center next to the airport. And Philips, our sole agent and a very strong partner for the Indian market, again, not just for sales, but all the after sales support as well. And I think we have an excellent team down there. And in combination with myself and our team over here, we support the market on site. Basically, today, I don't want to waste too much time talking about Hermle, talking about our products. That's just the introduction. I really want to focus on Fiveaxis machining. Before we move to that point of the presentation, however, let me quickly introduce our product portfolio as well. So as you can see here, we basically have in total only 9 machines in our product range. And all of them, as you can see on that slide, they look pretty much the same. And the reason for that is not because our R&D team is not that inventive or anything like that. We just feel that exactly this concept, a vertical 5-axis machine with a trunnion, so a swivel rotary table with a 4th and 5th axis, and everything combined with a modified gantry design, is in our view the best concept for a vertical 5-axis machine in the range, somewhere between 300 up to 1.2, 1.3 meters. And this is also why our product portfolio is very much streamlined and only focusing on exactly this concept. So in the high performance line, which is our high-end line, with all the bells and whistles on the machine, we can have multiple automation solutions, dynamic packages, accuracy packages. So those machines are really, equipped with the complete configuration potential of our machines. Ranging from a C12, the smallest machine, again 300 millimeter part size, roughly up to the C62, the largest machine in our product portfolio, where we talk about then up to 2.5 tons full 5-axis simultaneous machining. Next to that, we have our so-called performance line, and this is a machine line that basically consists out of 3 machines. Very, very successful line of machines ranging from the C250 up to the C650, and those machines just come with a more streamlined option list. So they are still 100% made in Germany. They follow the same quality and accuracy standards like our other machines. However, we can offer them at a more attractive pricing, but at the same time, and very important, they all follow the same accuracy and quality standards. They are 100% made in Germany. Again, they just come with certain restrictions when it comes to, dynamics maybe. So 35 meters is the maximum rapid feed, which is still a very, very dynamic machine. And maybe not all the options are available for those machines. Again, it is still a very high-end full 5-axis simultaneous machining center. Another very important point, automation. In today's time, even in countries where labor is maybe a little cheaper than over here in Europe, so speaking of India, automation is becoming more and more important. And the reason is not just the labor cost, because automation also has many other aspects. And one is for instance to use a 24/7 production 365 days a year with its full potential, and something like that is simply not possible, even though you work in 3 shifts with many operators. In today's time, automation is therefore also crucial in countries where labor cost is maybe not as driving as it is over here, maybe in Europe. So also automation is a very important field also for the Indian market, and very important here on that slide. You can see the full range of our solutions. We have everything from standard pallet changing systems, handling system, down to very, very flexible high-end part and pallet handling robot cells. An interlink of machines is possible. And here, very important, everything from a single source. So all these solutions are 100% developed, assembled, manufactured, and delivered by Hermle. So this is a closed loop solution from a single source. We are the partner for installing those cells, for manufacturing those cells, as well as for servicing those cells then in the long run. So everything from single source, and also very, very much important, when it comes to reliability of those cells, and obviously also then the full potential to use it. So after that short introduction to our company and to our products, let me then really focus on 5-axis machine. In today's time, many manufacturers out there offer 5-axis machines. There are options for 3+2 axis. There are options to add a trunnion table to a standard 3-axis machine at a later stage. There are 4-axis concepts. And I really want to talk about 5-axis. And first of all, the question, why do we need 5-axis? So where is 5-axis really required? Of course, we have seen now a nice introduction video of a very, very complex part that we have machined on one of our recent exhibitions. And as you all have seen, a part like this can simply not be machined without a proper 5-axis machine. So you need the rotating and the tilting axis to access all those areas, all the surfaces that such a part needs. But next to that, there is a lot of other requirements for a 5-axis machine. And one is, for example, the possibility to have multiple setups on a single machine. The other one is, of course, deep cavities that are simply not accessible. Maybe also the the reduction of EDM operations, with having better accessibility with a 5-axis machining center. Some small radii call for this, and obviously at the same time then also curved surfaces and areas that are simply not accessible, no matter how often you clamp and unclamp a part on a 3-axis machine. Sometimes simply a 5-axis machine is not just nice to have, it's really required. And then there are also different types of 5-axis machining. Again, one is the full potential of a machine, and this is a full 5-axis simultaneous operation. At the same time, also we feel even you have a 5-axis machine, we only want to move as little, only the axes that are really required. Because if we can achieve a surface with only machining with 3 axes, with having 4-side machining, copy front rolling, roller cuts, all this are different types of 5-axis manufacturing, and therefore also it's very crucial to understand not all of our customers are doing parts like what we have seen before. Most of our customers still work 90% 3+2 in positioning mode, and then only certain cavities, certain surfaces are machined with a simultaneous operation. And this is a fact here. This is the actual market that we see out there. Not everybody is doing only inclined surfaces and 3D contours. A lot of our business, the business of our customers out there, is 3+2 operations, and I also want to shed some light on that, why a 5-axis machine is also beneficial for those applications. And end of the day, it should not just be beneficial when it comes to saving of cycle time or just making the application look nicer. End of the day, a 5-axis machine should save money. It should offer a better return on investment. So shorter cycle times, less investment in tooling and work holding, so that down the line and bottom line, you will be saving money, you will have a better output, a better return on investment using a 5-axis machine above 3-axis machines, for example. So what are the advantages? I've already shed some small light on that. So one very important feature is, for example, a shorter tool length. So that means when I have a 5-axis machine, I can use a very, very short and standard tool because I have a better accessibility maybe than on a 3-axis machine. So the output is shorter tools mean less investment, first of all, standard tools. And at the same time, also a shorter tool means less vibration, higher stiffness of the whole system, and therefore, for instance, better surface finishes, even though you might run the same NC code like on a 3-axis machine. Again, also reduced number of setups. So we try to really do a 5-side machining. You can do multiple setups on one machine, for example. And end of the day, again, also we want to become better when we transfer a machine or a process from a 3-axis machine to a 5-axis machine. So that means down the line, it should not just be faster, hopefully we can achieve a better surface finish, and that is not guaranteed if you invest in a 5-axis machine, because achieving a better surface finish also always calls for a perfect process and not just for a perfect machine. And this will also be a couple of my next slides. But of course, there are also certain challenges. The first one that I've listed here, so the programming effort and computing time. In today's time, this is basically no problem at all anymore. Most of our customers work with the CAM software, even for 3-axis machine. It's state of the art in all the markets, and it is simply required if you want to operate a 5-axis machine to its full potential. Danger of collision is a problem, because of course the more axes that are moving, the more critical and the more challenging it becomes to control everything. But also here we can work a lot with software technology, and in our case we can work a lot with the very streamlined and good accessible machine enclosure that is very helpful on the Hermle machine. And then a very important point, the very big challenge, is accuracy. Again, if we can achieve a surface with only moving 2 axes, we will never, transfer such an NC, maybe, like such a contour, such a, part of an NC program into a full 5-axis process. Because again, if you have 5 axes moving, you have potentially 5 accuracy errors. If you have only 2 axes moving, simply, no matter how accurate the machine is, the error becomes less. And therefore, we also always try to use as little axes as possible. At the same time, that makes a 5-axis process very critical, because the more axes you have moving, when you have positioning of 2 additional axes, and when you have simultaneous moving of axes, here, we really see a differentiation between a low-cost and a high-cost machine. In 3 axes with only linear movements, you can control that, and you can compensate that pretty well nowadays. Whereas on a 5-axis machine, accuracy is key. And therefore, we feel no matter how good programming, how good the CAM software, how good our compensation out there is, a key for a good 5-axis process is a mechanically good and a mechanically accurate machine. And this is what we can deliver. So I just show you here, for example, one example. There are many machines out there that offer very accurate, positioning accuracy in a single axis. However, when you have, basically 2 axes moving, when you have then at the end 5 axes moving, it's not just a question. It's not just a question how accurate a single axis is. It's basically the question how accurate the correlation of all the axes are, and how accurate the volumetric accuracy of the machine is. And that makes just the whole play a little bit more interesting, a little bit more challenging, basically when we have 5 axes moving instead of only 3. And those are then also the process influencing factors. So it's not just the machine. There is a lot around the machine, that is defining the process of a 5-axis machining center. Again, next to the machine, there is programming that we have already discussed. There is, but also very important, the ambient situation of the machine, workholding tools, so the auxiliary equipment. And last but not least, we still feel that the operator is a very important key of a machining center, even though automation, software, digitalization becomes more and more important. The role of an operator is still crucial and is still key in a 5-axis and a manufacturing process, even though the tasks might be slightly shifting from just a standard programming maybe to more of a managing of the cell, controlling of a complete manufacturing cell, automation cell. But still, operators are key to a successful process on the machine. So let's shed some light on those. So, for example, I always get asked how good is, for example, the thermal compensation of a Hermle machine. I can always tell you, yes, our machines have a thermal compensation. Yes, our machines are thermally very stable with its design. But end of the day, a machine is always subject to physical impacts, to external impacts such as light, temperature, airflow, coolant, and so on. And therefore, no matter how good the thermal condition of a machine is, the ambient condition needs to be excellent as well. Another important factor is programming. Again, even today, you cannot simply take a 3D model, just upload it to your CAM software, post a program, and expect a very good result of the NC code on your machine. There is more to it. Again, it is very, very important from the very beginning to have, for example, a very good 3D file. We had many customers out there that have, for example, a bad 3D model of a part that was maybe, a scanned impeller or whatever, where surfaces are not that good. And then you take bad surfaces into the CAM file. The CAM file is exactly following those bad surfaces and creates an NC code that is again following that. And end of the day, you might end up having a bad surface on your part that is 100% driven and created not by the machine, but maybe by a faulty or not properly generated NC code. So therefore, programming externally and programming on the machine is still very, very vital, because also on the machine there is nowadays a lot of optimization potential and possibilities to fine-tune NC programs that are generated externally, transferred to the machine, and then obviously you can have still a lot of fine-tuning possibilities, to make a process better. So also programming is key. Another important thing is tools. So also we always expect that our customer invests in high-end tools, high-end tool holders when he expects a high-end process on the machine, and that starts by using well-balanced tool holders. For example, also when you have a ball nose cutter and you machine on a 5-axis machine, the ball nose cutter needs to be accurate on the complete circumference of the cutting edge. So also you need accurate tools. And you also need accurate tool preparation, accurate tool presetting, and an accurate and high-end possibility to measure tools, for example, also on the machine, in our case, using a bloom laser on the machines. And then last but not least, work holding, also here very important. On a 3-axis machine, you might clamp parts like this. On a 5-axis, we do that differently. We use the full potential of the swiveling and the rotary axis, and then a proper 5-axis process can, for example, look like that. So all that put together, plus a very important feature, the operator makes a good machine, makes a good machining process. And again, here I call, for example, for very important features that the operator, even in today's time, in the digital world, is responsible for. And that is, for example, calibration of the machine, keeping a machine clean and in a safe environment, having a proper warm-up cycle for machines, and then obviously maintaining the whole cell and maintaining the whole manufacturing process, starting from the programming, but ending up with taking the finished part of the machine. Still, the operator is a central key when it comes to a good manufacturing process. And last but not least, there is of course still the machine, and here I want to shed some light why Hermle is maybe the right choice, especially when it comes to a complex like a 5-axis machining process. So first of all, our design. Our machines are all designed, with a modified gantry design. We are using mineral casting machine beds, all made out of solid block, all made by Hermle. So we even machine those, we cast those machine beds made out of polymer concrete by ourselves. The machines are 100% symmetrical. The table is really connected to the side walls of the machine, very, very rigid design. We have 3 or up to 4 linear guideways depending on the machine type in the y-axis, and we have a very, very compact, dynamic, but at the same time very reliable and rigid machining concept. So here a quick video, that shows just the kinematics of the machine. Again, we call ourselves a 5-axis benchmark. Here you can see now, for example, the inside of a C42 mill turn machine for medium-sized machines. So you see the full swiveling range of the table, for example. You see the very, very good accessibility of the spindle. You can see a very big machining range compared to the footprint of the machine, very important. You see excellent accessibility of the part in every single angle, in every single position of the part. You can also see here the tool change, so with a pickup magazine in the back of the machine, so no additional NC arms that load, unload tools. Very, very straightforward. A very, very clean design of the machine, and clean also in the sense, as you can see inside, everything is stainless steel covered, not too much room for chip accumulation. All this is, the benchmark of today's 5-axis machine. And we at Hermle, we can always truly say we have set this benchmark. So we have developed this specific concept that nowadays many, many manufacturers out there are following. We have developed this type of 5-axis vertical machining center back in the days, back in the 1990s, so 1995, 96. We have developed the left side, so the first generation of the C-series machine, and in today's time we're looking at the third generation. So for almost 25 years, Hermle builds 5-axis machining centers with exactly this concept. And this is why we feel we have set the benchmark, and this is why also we feel maybe even in today's time we are ahead of our competition, and we are one of the, or maybe the leading manufacturer when it comes to 5-axis machining centers. One example is, for example, our trunnion design, again designed and patented by Hermle. Very important feature, the mineral base, so the machine bed of our machines, as you can see here, closed from 3 sides, very, very rigid and compact design. Everything from a single source. So when you buy Hermle, you buy also the after-sales support that is, very well known out there, that we offer excellent support, and everything from a single source, starting from the machine that is 100% assembled in-house, including all the auxiliary equipment such as automation. Important feature patented by us, for example, more than 20 years ago, our collision protection of the spindle, so mechanical protection of the spindle, with so-called aluminum bushes. As you can see here, once again, the mineral casting made by us, made in-house, and made in Germany. And finally, and last but not least, again, when using a machine, it comes down to persons. When assembling a machine and designing a machine, it also comes down to people. And we still feel that our team here at the headquarters in Germany, where every single of the more than 28,000 machines assembled that are out there in the market, they all have been assembled, manufactured, and produced here in our headquarters in South Germany. This is unique in the market, and this is still why we feel Hermle is a key player in the 5-axis world. And when you buy a Hermle machine, it is made by us, and it is 100% made in Germany. So after my presentation, as already outlined in the beginning, I have now time, to answer any kind of questions that came up, during the presentation. So I'm very open now to answer as many questions as possible. We have a couple of minutes left, and you're now welcome, to raise your questions.
So, thank you very much up to this point, Mr. Weizenegger, for the presentation.
Yes.
As said before, if you have any questions right now, please do not hesitate to enter them in the question box. The speaker will be happy to answer them right now.
We are online now,
So I can see here now one question. So one question was with respect to the machine bed, so that what I've discussed before, the mineral casting of the machine. I might quickly jump back 2 slides. So whether this is really made by Hermle. And yes, this is true. So I told you before, we're not just assembling the machine, we are producing most of the components that are crucial for the accuracy in-house. And that starts from producing all the mineral casting machine bed in our casting facility, which is 20 kilometers located from here. So we are, I guess, also one of the very few manufacturers out there that is producing machine beds in-house. And I can tell you, we are the only manufacturer that produces machine beds to that complexity, with that many inlays, steel inlays and inserts. in-house, and again, we do that 100% on our own. Plus also a lot of cast iron parts, such as the XYZ slides, so the moving parts, the trunnion housing, everything is produced and manufactured in-house and not just assembled. So maybe answering that first question.
Yes, I think this should have answered it. We're just waiting a little bit longer to give you more time to enter your questions.
So maybe one more question came up that I just see. So there was a question, what calibration tools, what tools you are using on the machine to probe parts or to measure tools. So on our machine, we use, on most of the machine nowadays, bloom lasers to preset and to measure tools, to check also tool breakage. And for presetting and probing of the parts, we use touch probes made by manufacturers like Heidenhain, Renishaw, Bloom, or M&H, for example. So here we partner with multiple suppliers. Then another question was, which CNC control are you using? So all our machines are also driven and controlled by German control units. So we either have our standard control unit, which is Heidenhain, the Heidenhain TNC 640, so the latest 5-axis control of Heidenhain on all our machines. This is our standard control, and therefore also our standard control is a full 5-axis control, so we don't have an option for simultaneous working or whatever. All our machines are 5-axis machine controlled by the Heidenhain TNC 640. And for certain models, especially of the high performance line, we also offer the Siemens 840D solution line as an alternative. So those are the only two controls that we are using on our machines. Another question was, which is the best machining software? I think there are also some other speakers in that symposia that are talking about 5-axis machining software, so CAM software. I mean, here we cannot really give a clear statement. This is the best, or this is something that we recommend. We partner with with many companies out there, and there is room for every CAM software. So of course there are the big ones, Autodesk, OpenMind, SolidCAM, like Siemens and X. So there is quite a big market out there, and typically all of them are also partners of us. And more important than having the best software is having the best software support. And here, very important is our service engineers, applications engineers, sorry. They typically know all the state-of-the-art software out there, and they can support you in working with this software. So I think this is more important than the actual software is the real support, and we can provide it.
So I can't see any more questions right now. Mr. Weizenegger, do you have any questions in your panel? I think I do not have any. So you can now address a few final words to the participants.
Yeah, so thank you very much. It was a pleasure, to be part of this virtual symposia today. I think it was a very good possibility to talk to you, to share some inside knowledge about Hermle, about our machines. At the same time, I'm really hoping that we all get through this pandemic very soon, that I have the possibility to meet you again face to face on one of the forthcoming symposia, on one of the next exhibition, IMTEX 2021, 2022. Nobody knows. Thank you very much for joining, and I'm very much looking forward to meet you in person again in the future. Do not hesitate to contact us in case of any questions. So either Hermle or Philips Machine Tools India, we are your contact when it comes to 5-axis machining. So thank you very much for your attention.